Alright, what's up, guys? So, Hot T, she has uploaded a video titled All the Tea on Gabby Hanna's Online Family Drama. You won't believe this. So, I'm guessing there's probably more to it. Because I just don't think that Gabby's sister. So, I guess, like, that's why I originally heard that Gabby's sister was mad over the fact that she took, like, some art of hers and then used it for herself. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, it is messed up that she did that, but it has to be deeper than that. It has to have been some stuff that's been going on for years and things, probably since, like, probably before the Vine days, for Gabby. I don't know. Let's see what gets talked on. But anyways, guys, make sure you go show some love, support to Hot Tea and her second channel, Raver Hammy, and her business channel, Build Your Pocket. But in that being said, let's go ahead and get into this video. Check out two bowls of water.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about Gabby Hanna once again. You guys seem to be interested in covering what's been happening with her, so in today's video we are looking into what Gabby's sisters have said about their family situation, as well as some people's opinion on Gabby's behavior over the past month or so. But before we get into it, let me stop you right there. Make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Turn your post notifications on to see the newest videos, and if you enjoy this video, give this video a big old thumbs up. Okay, let's dive into the tea. If you guys are not familiar with Gabby Hanna, you can check out my
dancing
videos
covering
everything
what else?
From Gabby coming for smaller creators like Rachel Oates, Hello Leash, putting on blast everyone that has criticized her or hasn't agreed with her in the past, including Angelica Oles, Oscar Wilde, and so many other people. Then we had a lot of questionable TikToks from her, Gabby talking about her ADHD and her new docuseries that is apparently coming sometime soon. What else was there? Her admitting on her Patreon that she got into arguments with people we mentioned because she was trolling, but previously she was claiming it was her finally responding and defending herself against all of the bullies. And a lot of info came out of her ex-Patreon.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And how Gabby treats her fans, from threatening to sue a bunch of minors to sending her fans to attack or letting her fans behave horribly to other creators, and much more. And this is a very, very, very brief summary of what has come out on Gabby thus far. There have been a lot of mixed opinions whether drama and commentary channels should be talking about this or not, since we're giving her more attention.
My thing is like, and this is why I like Ray's channel, because it is her giving out her commentary, but it's not. I think it's like, it depends on the situation. That's when she'll throw like some jabs in, but other than that, it's like she's just talking, she's just telling us, hey, what's going on. So if anything's I don't know, like I guess like the Hot Tea channel would fall under the category as a commentary channel, but I've always have seen it as a news channel. I've seen it kind of like another drama alert. It just covers things that I don't really be paying attention to. So yeah, I'm like, there's at times where I am curious. I'm good friends with Ray, so I'm like, of course I'm gonna show support to her channel, and any video that she's uploading, I'm just like, oh, okay, let me go ahead, check it out, see what's going on. I might not be subscribed to any of these people. Like, I'll have to check and see if I'm subscribed to Gabby. I might have subscribed to Gabby, but like James Charles, Trisha Paytas, who else? Yeah, like I don't be paying attention to. So if there's like a shorter version of it, like if I do hear somebody talking about it, or if somebody approaches me and then they want to talk to me about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I can say my words on anything, and then also recommend Ray's channel. So, but anyways,
and Gabby is going through something perhaps, and maybe her recent behavior is due to mental health. On the other hand, a lot of people just want to hold her accountable for her actions. She's been compared to good old trolling Trisha Paytas. Some compared Gabby to Onision. No comment on that. And now what? In my last video on Gabby, we mentioned very briefly that allegedly Gabby stole artwork from her sister for her poetry book,
crazy.
Adulted Lessons? Is that how you pronounce that? Since then, Charissa, the sister, has made claims that her siblings have been abusive to her, especially Gabby, and they have cut her off of their lives. She basically hopped on the Gabby hate train, went on Twitter and Instagram. Def Noodles had a lot of the receipts for this, however, we don't know how true this is. And it's all alleged, but now we have two of Gabbie's siblings explaining some of the family drama, not necessarily defending Gabbie, but just shedding some light, since the other sister, Charissa, made this public. So the first one to speak out on the situation was Gabbie's younger sister, Cecilia, who has been in a few videos of Gabbie's. She also has her own platform, about 500,000 followers on TikTok. Cecilia posted a few TikToks where she talked about her experiences with her sister, Charissa.
Okay, I was really trying not to be involved in any of this drama, but I feel like it's gotten to a point where I have to say something only to defend myself. The drama between Gabbie and my other siblings is between Gabbie and my other siblings. I have nothing to do with it. I'm not going to be speaking on it. I'm going to be speaking...
That's some stuff I would say. Not even lying. I'm like, it's just only me and my sister, but if there is like, I had to say, if there was ever a time where there's like some people that I know of, that I'm close with, and then, they're going back and forth. If people ask me, I'm gonna be like, look, I don't know what's going on. I ain't gonna say anything, and then next thing you know, that everybody's coming after. I don't like being that person where it's all like, where two people are arguing, and then they're like, Tyler, what do you think about all this? I'm like, I don't want to think. I don't. I overthink too much already. Now you're putting me in a situation where I gotta think more. No, I'm like, I just don't want to think. I'm like, I'm like, just please don't add me into this and stuff. I'm like, I just want to think about some food. That's it, food and I don't know, music, but I just don't want to think about this. But anyways,
on my own experiences and why you guys should not believe everything you see and just run with it. As you know, my older sister Charissa has been posting a lot on YouTube comments, Twitter, Instagram, wherever she can, posting about how we are all abusive to her and we have decided to leave her life. That is not true. Yes, most of us don't speak to her anymore, but that is because of years and years of abuse that she has put all of us through. It's not because we were jealous of her or threatened by her or any of that. I didn't want to speak about this online, but I mean, she's continuing to post photos of me, mention my name in multiple tweets, like, or two. Okay.
Cecilia said that she isn't taking any sides. She's just sharing what she has experienced and that people shouldn't believe everything they see or read online. The series on TikTok is quite long, but here is a little summary of what she had to say. Disclaimer, some of what she talks about involves abuse and trauma, so if you are sensitive to that, keep a heads up if you watch the whole thing. Cecilia said that Charissa mentioned that Gabbie stole her artwork for adult lessons, and that was a lie. Charissa and Gabbie had an agreement for the book, and actually it ended up that Gabbie gave credit to her sisters in her second book, Dandelion.
I was really trying not... This all started about drama with Gabbie's book and Charissa feeling her artwork was stolen, which they have talked about privately several times. I know there was an agreement between them. I don't know what the agreement was. I'm not going to speak on it. This is about me and the abuse that I endured from Charissa my entire life.
Cecilia talked about how she's been traumatized and disrespected by her sister multiple times. She mentioned different situations where her sister made her feel uncomfortable, including physical fights and verbal abuse.
But I'm going to focus.
I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like that there will be at times where it's like you will have like some beefs and some dramas that do go down with your siblings. Should it be like, TikTok and YouTube videos? No, I don't think, whoever was the one to throw the first punch at that, I don't think that should have been done. Because I don't know, it's just something where it's like, we got to resolve this. Because it's like, you guys see this day, look, y'all ain't the Kardashians, y'all ain't the Real Housewives or wherever city or state you live in, y'all, at the end of the day, yes, you guys are content creators, but that's what you guys are as content creators. Now, I am not one to tell people what to do with their platforms, but I feel like putting your fans in a situation where they're like picking and choosing and arguing and beefing and spreading hate and fires and just going crazy all over the internet, over some things that's between you guys. I just don't, that type of stuff, I'm not with that. So I'm like, it's something where I'm like, look, at the end of the day, I'm just here to create content. And that sounds like what this, this sister's talking on, what she wants to do. She's just only here to create content. She doesn't want to be a part of this, but people keep bringing it up. And it's like, man, guys, just no, ignore it. Leave it alone. If I'm telling you, it's it's stuff like this where it just doesn't get no attention, it'll get dropped. Trust me on that. But
focus on the most recent time and the last time I spoke to her. It was February 14th. It was Valentine's Day. Sharissa had been talking about a movie that she was involved in, an indie film, and she was excited about it, and she was asking us to share it on our social media. Keep in mind that it had been less than a week since she asked us to share it initially. I knew nothing about this film, I knew nothing about the director or the people acting in it, and it was very gory and inappropriate, so I honestly felt a little bit uncomfortable sharing it on my platform. Not to mention, it violated a lot of community guidelines, and my page would have gotten, like, striked for that. I just honestly don't feel super comfortable sharing things on my page that I don't know a ton about. Hadn't even had time to look into it more before she blew up on all of us. Part 5. So back to the movie, I really didn't know much about it, didn't feel comfortable sharing it, and she just kept pushing and pushing and pushing when I was trying to drop hints kind of that I wasn't comfortable with it. And she kept saying later, you should have just said that, you should have just said you weren't comfortable or you didn't want to, but honestly that was never really an option with her. Because of the outcome that we had all experienced, that was something that was very common with her, and we were all afraid of that. And it turns out that she ended up leaving the movie and not doing it anymore because the director was like a scammer. So I would have looked like a real idiot if I would have shared that.
And lastly, Cecilia shared her sister Monica's story on Twitter.
This video is not in defense of Gabbie. It's not in defense of any of her actions. I still, to this point, am not speaking on it. This is just to clear up the lies that Sharissa has been telling and the pain that she has caused to me and all of my younger siblings and my older siblings. But there's a reason that we didn't have that close of a relationship with her. And no, it's not because she was the only one who's not toxic. I don't even know. Hopefully you guys will take this and maybe understand that everything you see on the internet isn't just fact. And I'm surprised that up to this point people haven't seen the I'm not the problem, everyone else is mentality in all of her statements thus far.
Another sister of Gabbie shared her story in regards to Sharissa and why people shouldn't believe her blindly and that she isn't that good of a person either. Again, their sister Sharissa has not only talked about the artwork, she also claimed that all of her family just cut her off. She's been going on social media exposing Gabbie and others. So Monica also did artwork for Gabbie's first book. Both her and Sharissa were mentioned in the second book, like we said. Monica posted this on Twitter. There are a lot of situations mentioned. You can pause to read the whole notes, but here is some of it. This has weighed on me for years now, and unfortunately, it's time for me to say my piece, especially now that Sharissa is dragging more people into it daily. She wanted to make things public, and as much as I hate it, I guess that's where it has to happen. Our whole lives, we've been raised to walk on eggshells, to watch what we say to certain people so that they don't lash out on us, to be nice because they're sensitive or had a hard time growing up, etc. But the fact of the matter is, we all had a hard time, but we're not children trapped in a setting we can't control anymore. We're adults, we need to take accountability. When I was little, I had a bad relationship with my siblings because of the environment in which we were raised. We didn't learn to love one another. We didn't learn proper communication. We didn't learn the value of peace or that peace could even exist. We didn't learn the right way to handle conflict or emotions like jealousy or rage. We all had a rough start. The difference is some of us grew. We learned. We worked on bettering ourselves. We reflected. We tried to change our bad habits and go against our nature to lash out, to hurt, and to damage. Sharissa did not. She went on in detail about her experience living with Sharissa and her habits, like, you know, smoking.
Yeah, it happens. I know it was one of my friends I used to work with. He was he will always like joke around and just, you know, do just like random and wild things. I remember he came out with this like list of things that he didn't like, and one of them on there was his brother. And when he told me, because he told me the whole like backstory about like, you know, why him and his brother. So it's like at times, like, you know, here's the thing, like I try, you know, for the most part to be a peaceful person, and I know if it was me and my sister, because it's only the two of us, we don't, you know, have no other siblings and stuff. So and I'm not going to put like, you know, friends or anybody else over her. So it's like at the end of the day, you know, that's me and my sister. It's like, yeah, we might fight, we might beef, we might have a bunch of different drama. There's times where we've had like petty fights. There's times where we've had funny fights. There's times where we've had serious fights. And I just think that's like, I don't know. It just might just be in like that nature of like just the, you know, the title siblings. But it should never, I just don't think it should be a thing where it's like, where it's as serious as this, where, you know, you're like turning people against this. So at the end of the day, I just think that, you know, I don't know, like, I'm not trying to be that person where I say like, they need counseling, but I definitely do think that they just, they need to sit down and at least just try to get on the same page with each other and reason, and then like solve all the problems that they got in front of them, so in the future they can like just look back on this and be like, hey, this is in the past, it's just time to focus on the future. So it's like, or just, I guess, just have an agreement or something, apologize to one another. I don't know, but I'm just saying it should just be one of those things where it's like, y'all just sit down, have a talking, with each other. If yelling and screaming and all that stuff happens, and yelling, screaming, and all that stuff happens, but it's like, I just think that this situation should have been resolved like behind doors and stuff. I don't know, just my opinion on it.
All day long, and always being terrible to her, being screaming at her all the time, lying, stealing. She wanted to say, eventually I had to deal with the wrath of her jealousy, or who knows what, when I got married. She tried to ruin my wedding by screaming and insulting the bartenders who cut her off. She threatened and belittled them. She poured red nail polish all over brand new marble floors that I was liable for before being escorted out. She ended off her message saying, but she was my sister and I love her and I chose to forgive her. Then Monica mentions a movie that their sister Trisha asked them to share to support
I'm like,
her.
nah, I went put my sister in the fireman's carry and did John Cena's wrestling move to her in some bushes. I'm like, you ain't gonna come to my wedding. That's just one thing for sure. I'm like, hey, yo, look, if you gonna have like a jealousy thing going on, then don't show up. That's why I'm like, I never put myself in a situation where it's saying I'm not jealous of my sister, but I'm just saying, like, if I did, why would I show up to that? If I had like some like legitimate jealousy, why would I show up to something that she got going on? Like literally one of the biggest days of her life, and I'm gonna go there. I'm like, I might be petty. I might do some petty things at times, but I ain't gonna do no serious petty things. Like some stuff where I'm like, dang. Like, I'm gonna be sitting down one day thinking back like, dang, I shouldn't have done that. Like, that's a situation I'd definitely be like, I shouldn't have done that. But yeah, that's crazy. That is, that's wild.
The sisters refused because it wasn't something they felt comfortable sharing due to the movie being graphic and gory, and the director apparently was very sketchy. And here are a couple of more screenshots of what she had to say about Charissa on Twitter. You guys can pause to read it.
Some say about germophobia.
Read the entire thing for you guys.
Yeah, it's like all this stuff. I'm like, hey, yo, like, y'all, it's like, this ain't no reality show. It's like, I ain't trying to say that this situation is fake, but I'm just like, it's something that should have been solved behind doors.
So this is what Cecilia and Monica had to say about Charissa. Gabbie has stayed quiet on this matter. She hasn't responded to all of this or said anything really about everything else that's been going on. She teased on Instagram that something is coming out on Friday. Could it be the docuseries she was talking about previously? I don't know. We'll have to find out. And here we have some comments on how Gabbie has misinformed people on ADHD. Here's a TikTok of someone who doesn't agree with Gabbie's portrayal of it. Some of the comments where people with ADHD don't use it as an excuse for bad behavior, and that what Gabbie is claiming to be due to it.
I'll never forget when a teacher, I just tell people, I'm like, if I do some crazy or wild stuff, I just flat out just say I'm crazy. Like that's just my mind. Like I process it, I give it a stamp of approval, and then I just go out, just do some wild and crazy stuff. But yeah, I ain't gonna be like, oh, I got ADD or ADHD. Like, my thing is like, I don't hide behind things. Like, I feel like that I do have an answer for stuff if I am caught up in the situation. So yeah, if there is ever a time where it's like, if I do something like, just straight up just wild, then it's like, yeah, I did some wild stuff. I'm like, I gotta own up to it. I gotta like answer for it. I'm not saying that it's like people with ADD or ADHD. It's like, they gotta like, if they, if they have that stuff and it's like, that's the reason for them doing things. And it's like, okay, then that's the reason for them. Me, I guess I'm just different. Me, I'm just gonna say I'm crazy, or I'm just, it's not that I like. Because I know when the teacher, when she told me that, I'm like, that teacher, she said that out of anger. That teacher, I think she was just having a bad day. And yeah, she just looked at the class and was just like, you guys got like a form of ADD or ADHD. And I'm like, huh. All right, well, high five to everybody. So, but it's like, yeah, it's, I don't know. I wouldn't say I have it. but it could be a possibility. I wouldn't know, but yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, I ain't gonna be like, oh well, now I got a reason to say like, oh, this is why I did this or this is why I did that. Like no, like I did this because I'm just weird. So
ADHD
anyways,
is very, very, very different from what the majority of people with it experience. The girl on TikTok added that it could be harmful to the community if Gabbie keeps on spreading misinformation on the topic.
yeah, because then people.
But I want to talk about what I believe.
Because people would see that and they're like, oh, well, I could go out and do some wild and crazy things and then just be like, oh, I got ADD or ADHD. I could punch somebody in the face just for some random reason, just be like, oh, it's my ADHD. Like, oh, okay. No, it's like you assaulted me, but yeah, I don't think like, that should be your reason for it. Like, you got to own up to things, or it's like at least just tell people it's like, hey, I'm sorry for doing these videos, but not try to like, not hide, but like use something that's serious as an excuse.
It is irreparable damage Gabbie is currently doing to the ADHD and neurodivergent communities right now. It's clear to me that she's navigating a new diagnosis. I was also diagnosed with ADHD as an adult, so I understand how difficult it can be to navigate. The biggest thing that I'm taking issue right now is this. I really hope that she does not become the walking case study of ADHD. Because her experience with ADHD looks very different to mine and a lot of other people with ADHD that I know. Our hyperactivity doesn't look similar to mania. It looks like needing to get exercise, picking the skin on our cuticles, and attention deficit and things like that cause a lot of executive functioning problems. But until she gets more comfortable with her own diagnosis, and the community in general, I think it's extremely inappropriate that she's acting like this is the experience of most people with ADHD. Yeah. I don't dance around and look like I'm having a mental breakdown all the time. Rather, I have a hard time staying connected to friends and meeting deadlines. And lastly, most of us don't use our diagnosis as an excuse for all our bad behavior. If anything, it just helps us learn how to get better.
Also, there have been a lot of comments on my last videos that you guys actually saw a Gabbie Hanna ad before watching the videos, so that's just hilarious. But yeah, that was pretty much it for today's video on Gabbie. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts down below. I can't believe this like family drama is happening on the internet.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hilarious to me. But yeah, that was it for today's video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. I post new videos every single week. All right, bye.
Yeah, it's always good. I could get me a hot tea video. Wait a sec, I gotta see if this. Okay, video played. I was like just making sure the audio had played and stuff, but. Yeah, this situation with Gabbie, I'm like, hey, yo, you guys, man, y'all need to, like, resolve this situation, but just behind, like, closed doors and stuff, because then it's like, people are just going to use this against you. That's why I try not to have it where it's like, I will get, like, personal with you guys at times, like, if I'm doing a podcast episode or or a video of some sorts. Yeah, I'll get personal, but I try not to get too personal because I just know that there's like evil-minded people out there that would try to use that stuff against you. So I feel like that there probably will like one day there were, Gabbie, she's just in a like better state than she is right now. And yeah, people would just be like, hey, remember all that them years ago you was arguing with your sisters about? And it's like that type of stuff like a person don't need to see. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I try to like keep it where it's like my personal life. It's not gonna be something. It's like, I mean, yeah, there's things people have used them against me. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I see it as this. It's like, even if the people do that, you don't have anything to worry about. That's just that evil-minded person. So it's like, at the end of the day, as long as they know that, it's like, you just got some screws that's missing and you want to do that to people. It's like, yeah, you just got to show them that you got thick skin. That stuff don't matter. So it's in the past. It's in the past. So, but anyways, good video as always. Guys, make sure you go show some love to Hot Tea. Make sure you subscribe to her channel, Hot Tea, her main or her personal channel, Ray Rahimi, and her business channel, Build Your Pocket. Like, subscribe to me too, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.